Hi, I'm Anthony, and this is the first video in a series of videos for learning to play the guitar.net. Today we're going to learn three chords: A major, D major, and E major. We're also going to learn how to smoothly and efficiently move our fingers between each of these chord shapes, and then this will lead into learning a three-chord wild tune, which is a good demonstration of how these three chords can be used in a song. So let's get started. Okay, the first chord we're going to look at is A major. This involves using finger number 1 on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, finger number 2 also on the 2nd fret but now on the 3rd string, and then finger number 3 on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. So essentially you've got 3 fingers lined up in a row, but obviously to make them fit you have to make a slight diagonal shape with your hand like this. And this is a 5-string chord, so we pluck from the 5th string down to the 1st string towards the floor. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So hopefully, if your fingers are all in the right spots, it should sound like that. So the main thing here is to try and keep your fingers right on the fingertips. Try and avoid the fingers leaning over, because then you can actually end up blocking, say, the 1st string down the bottom here. Another common problem, so get the fingers standing upright like that. Another common problem people do starting out with this chord is this 1st finger here sometimes can creep back a bit too far, and you sort of might get clunky sounds happening. So make sure that this finger here is pushed as far forward as you possibly can, and a good amount of pressure too. So whenever you're learning to play new chords for the first time, make sure that you check each string and make sure every string is ringing out before you give it a quick strum. And there's A major with the 3 fingers in a row. There's another way of playing this chord for A major which I'll show you as well, because some people find that a bit awkward to start out with. So another way of playing A major is the 1st finger on the 2nd fret of now on the 3rd string, and we're going to now place our 2nd finger physically above it on the 4th string again on the 2nd fret, and then the 3rd finger will tuck underneath now on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string, so that you end up with an A major played like this. And again, just checking each string works nicely in this shape. So it's basically the same notes, but we're just using a different fingering pattern for that to make it a bit easier to play. The main thing again here is make sure the fingers don't lean over too sideways like this, where you get blocking on the 1st string, and you've got a good amount of hard pressure, so fairly hard pressure there to make sure all the strings ring out nicely. And another thing to watch out for is this 1st finger here, as I move a bit closer, can tend to slide back a bit, and you might get a clunky sound again happening from that. So make sure again that this 1st finger is pushed as far forward as you can towards the 2nd fret itself. Make sure you're able to put good pressure and a nice big clear sound like that. So then the next chord we're looking at here is D major. I like to call this the triangle shape because it looks like a triangle when we get it all together. So 1st finger now goes here on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, 2nd finger underneath on the 2nd fret of the 1st string, and then the last finger is your 3rd finger now on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. So with a sort of triangle looking shape here. And now this is also a 5-string chord, so from the 5th string all the way down to the floor, which is where the 1st string is, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and checking everyone again, there's a good amount of pressure. Make sure that the fingers don't creep back too far this way, otherwise you can get clunky sounds happening. It's easier to press down on the onto the fretboard with your fingers a little bit far forward like that as well. And the other little tip to here is often people get in trouble with this chord when they're first starting out with this the 3rd finger here leans over and blocks the 1st string. So make sure the fingers are right on their fingertips, as like little ballerina feet if you like, so on the tippy toes of the fingers, so we're getting not blocking any strings and anything like that, and maintaining good pressure as we go through. So that's D major, and the 3rd chord is E major. So this involves 1st finger now on the 1st fret of the 3rd string, 2nd finger now creeps or jumps over there to the 2nd fret on the 5th string, and the 3rd finger in the middle there will land on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. So this is a 6-string chord, so you can hit all 6 strings, so checking them as we go through, as we did with the other chords. So end up with that sort of shape. Just move my hand around a bit there to try and show you a bit better. But 6 strings, and it gives you that sound, and a nice big E chord sound there. Again, just watching out for the hand leaning over too far this way, and sometimes you can block either the 3rd string here, or sometimes even the second string with the edges of the fingers, so make sure they're, again, right on the fingertips and a good hard amount of pressure there to make sure the chords all work nicely. So have a shot at all of those chords, the two versions of A. You might find one easier than the other, and in the next video we'll show you steps on how to connect them together.